Marine reacts to the SCP Foundation explained by the Infographics Show. Now, I've seen 2 SCP videos so far on this channel, and so far they've done really well, and I've been really trying to get into what exactly is behind the SCP actual lore behind it. And so there was somebody who commented on which video to watch to get a better understanding of the SCP Foundation. I did watch it, I recorded it. It didn't come out as I planned, but it definitely gave me a good reference of mine as to what to kind of expect now. They didn't go into detail too much about the actual SCPs, but now I have a better idea of what to expect, like the different types of tiers, the type of personnel that they even have at these facilities, that they're worldwide, SCP-001, all that kind of stuff. So I'm gonna go ahead and leave a link to the original video down below to the Infographics Show, so you can watch it over there as well. But before we get started, make sure you hit that like button. It really helps me out a lot. Click the notification bell right here so you get notified every time I upload a video. I've been uploading daily, sometimes even twice a day. Typically working on them in the morning so you guys can enjoy them when you get off work late in the afternoon. So without further ado, let's go ahead and see what exactly the SCP Foundation is really about and get a good idea as to what kind of SCPs they might show us in this video.
In an undisclosed location, a woman is being tortured. The methods of her abuse are too horrific to be described, and her torturers are death row prison inmates, the absolute worst of the worst. This woman's torture is constant, and procedures are put into place to make sure she never becomes accustomed to the pain. If ever her torturers express sympathy toward their victim, their superiors will have them removed and replaced. If they try to rescue her or put her out of her misery,
but these
they
guys are the
themselves will
SCP
be
dudes?
shot without hesitation. The woman being tortured is known only as SCP-231-7.
Okay. So she's one of them.
She's pregnant. The cause of her eternal torture? The SCP Foundation. And you'll be shocked to learn that when all is said and done, these are the good guys. Because if they ever stop their brutal treatment of SCP-231-7, a treatment codenamed Procedure 110 Montauk, she'll give birth to a creature that will destroy the world as we know it. This is just one of the many examples of the objects
that
and
went from 0 to 100 pretty quick.
Eyes of the SCP Foundation, a mysterious group that strives to achieve greater good by any means necessary, and we do mean any. What you're about to hear is above classified, and be warned, what is heard can never be unheard, unless of course the Foundation gets its hands on you. So what is the SCP Foundation? In the most basic sense, the group's mission statement is right there in the SCP acronym.
Secure, contain,
protect. It's the task of the Foundation to, in their own words,
so it can even be people with
anomalous
superpowers
objects,
then, right?
entities and phenomena, things that don't make sense, things that don't belong, things that simply don't fit in with our perception of reality, and some things that pose an existential threat to all human life.
Fuck
We
clowns.
refer to these contained anomalies as SCPs.
I have
each of which
seen
is accompanied
some kind of,
by a number.
what is it,
This
one
is
of
a
those plague
broad
doctor
umbrella,
dudes?
as an SCP
I'm seeing this
can range
picture
from
around.
benign or even actively helpful to downright apocalyptic if ever released. Much like the infamous Men in Black often reported by witnesses in connection with alien sightings,
What if these guys are the Men in
works
Black?
in secret to maintain a sense of normalcy at all costs, knowing the chaos it would cause if any of the anomalies they're harboring ever become public. Take for example SCP-500. To the untrained eye, the object is just an unassuming prescription pill bottle, the kind you'd see in medicine cabinets the world over. But the pills in this humble bottle are unlike any earthly
What does it
medicine.
do?
They can cure quite literally anything, from cancer to a cold within 2 hours. But at the time of this writing, there are only 47 pills left. The power
it's
to
a very
cure all
limited.
disease, a privilege denied to even the richest and most powerful in society. A veritable
Kinda like
holy
one of
grail.
those
Can you imagine
emergencies.
the violence and horror that would break out in trying to obtain them if their existence ever became public? The SCP Foundation works in secret because the collective mind of society just couldn't handle the knowledge of what they're dealing with. They work with the approval of all world governments, effectively placing them above international law. Essentially, there is no human authority above the Foundation, because without the Foundation's work, there would be no humans
So
left
they're
to
above the
govern.
law.
To understand the basic operations of this above top secret organization, we need to delve a little further into that secure, contain, protect slogan. Secure refers to the Foundation's practice of constant global surveillance and observation in order to detect and intercept anomalous activity before it can interact with
It
civilians.
seems it would be
or
kind of
rival
hard
groups.
to have
Contain
such a big
involves
organization and
preventing
have
the
nobody know
influence of
about
the
it
anomaly from
besides the
spreading
people who are
by
in
either,
it.
in their own words, relocating, concealing, or dismantling such anomalies, or by suppressing or preventing public dissemination of knowledge thereof. The
What if it is
latter
just
can
a kid,
involve
though, that's,
practices
has
such as
some
using
kind of power,
advanced chemical compounds
not
or
like a bad guy?
technologies to delete and then
assuming
rewrite
they
the
would still take
memories
him
of
in.
infected civilians, or even committing mass murder if necessary to cover their tracks. The SCP Foundation has, in the past, wiped out entire towns of innocent civilians to prevent dangerous information about the SCP spreading beyond their control. They can take lives at their own discretion and consider almost any crime to be permissible when the alternative is Armageddon. And finally, protect pertains to all operations meant to protect mankind
real rules of
from the
engagement
SCPs,
then, huh?
up to and including neutralizing and destroying them when possible. Some
fuck is
SCPs,
that?
such as the
Is that a
infamous
crocodile?
SCP-682, a nigh-indestructible genocidal reptilian, have proved to be almost impossible to destroy. Research is ongoing in many cases, as the Foundation explores any and all possible methods of reducing the threat
Shoot
of
him with
more
a missile.
dangerous SCPs. In order to help them categorize the thousands of strange and horrifying anomalies under their watch, the Foundation has created a system that organizes the SCPs based on the difficulty of containing them. The first of the primary object classes is Safe, pertaining to SCPs
I remember
that require
seeing this in the
little,
other video.
if any resources to
Safe,
safely
Euclid,
and
and
properly
Keter.
contain. Examples include the previously mentioned SCP-500 pill bottle.
And it doesn't always have to deal with the way
SCP-999, a
how strong they
benevolent
are,
blob of
but just
gelatinous
like
orange matter.
as far as
SCP-999
containing them,
has a
from
playful,
what I
almost
remember.
dog-like personality. It causes feelings of happiness and euphoria in whoever or whatever it touches. It's even been used by the Foundation as a pacification tool to reduce aggression in other SCPs.
Oh, so they do use
The
the
second
SCPs
primary
on
object
others.
class is Euclid, which refers to any anomaly that requires more resources to contain completely or where containment isn't always reliable. This is the broadest SCP class, and the majority of sentient, sapient, or autonomous anomalies fall into this category. A Euclid SCP might be something as huge, sprawling, and bizarre as SCP-3008. This SCP appears to be a kind of anomalous pocket dimension hidden inside an IKEA superstore, which is not only significantly larger on the inside by approximately 10 kilometers, but also contains bizarre, faceless entities which can become hostile under
Wait,
the
so
right
they have an
conditions.
IKEA
SCP
inside a
also
cell.
has something as seemingly innocuous as SCP-294, which appears to the untrained eye to be a standard coffee vending machine. However, unlike any other coffee machine, the input system on SCP-294 is a QWERTY keyboard. This SCP can manifest any liquid typed in on the keyboard, from standard drinks like coffee and beer to more esoteric compounds like sulfuric acid and disease-infected human blood. During extensive tests, one subject requested the perfect drink and was given an odorless lavender-colored liquid. After consuming the liquid, the subject went into a state of euphoric shock. The subject later committed suicide, leaving a note which read, "I'm sorry, but at this point everything's just one big letdown." Sadly, subjects dying during tests.
This dude had the biggest high.
The SCP Foundation essentially has limitless resources, including access to countless disposable workers and test subjects. The
How would
most
they be
common of
funded,
these
though?
are so-called D-class personnel, which are death row inmates conscripted
remember
for the
hearing about these
purposes
guys,
of
too.
often lethal SCP
They were like death
experimentation or
row
containment.
inmates, right?
The next primary object class is Keter, described by the Foundation as anomalies
These are
that
like the
exceedingly
world-ending
difficult
ones,
to
right?
contain consistently or reliably, with containment procedures often being extensive and complex. This can either be due to being an extremely volatile and dangerous anomaly or just one that seems to defy known laws of physics or reality, and is thus extremely difficult to understand or contain. The SCP Foundation has a vast number of secret facilities across the globe, and while the Keter-class SCPs are not nearly
I'm
as
assuming
common as the
someone's
Euclid
made
class,
one with Area
they consume
51.
a great deal
Oh,
more
I mean, I would
resources
assume
to
as much.
safely contain. One particularly terrifying Keter-class SCP is SCP-354, colloquially known by the Foundation employees as the Blood Pond. This SCP
Oh, I thought
is
that was a
large
track.
pool of non-biological red liquid discovered in North Canada that appears to be a kind of interdimensional primordial soup. What makes this SCP particularly hard to contain, as well as extremely frightening, is the fact that hostile entities periodically emerge from the pond and must be neutralized before they can escape the containment area. These entities have included a floating black sphere that can fire concentrated beams of deadly radiation, a 15-foot-tall reptilian humanoid that seemed immune to gunfire,
So
and a
how would
homicidal
you contain
metallic
that then?
humanoid nicknamed the Terminator.
Or unless
by
they got people
Foundation
just posted up
personnel.
there.
The most highly classified primary object
Oh, build a
class
wall
of
around
all
it,
is
or something at
Thaumiel,
least.
which consists of SCPs used to contain other SCPs.
I remember Thaumiel in the other video.
SCP-7000-J, a book of Latin incantations bound in dinosaur skin that can summon various other entities, all the way to SCP-4006, which is the entire state of Massachusetts. Thaumiel-class SCPs
state?
are the most bizarre and esoteric of the anomalies dealt with by the Foundation, but thankfully, they often pose less of an active threat than many of the Euclid or Keter-class SCPs. Finally, as mentioned earlier, sometimes the SCP Foundation deems an anomaly too dangerous to contain and just needs to destroy it entirely. A terrifying example of a neutralized SCP.
I mean, why don't they just do that with any one of
How
those?
strange and abstract the anomalies dealt with by the Foundation can be is SCP-4991. This SCP manifested as a series of bizarre posts across a number of websites about an apocalyptic event that seemed to be occurring on a different layer of reality, and seemed to indicate that a kind of deadly parasitic and carnivorous insect was spreading like wildfire across the globe, causing death and destruction in their wake. The SCP Foundation neutralized SCP-4991 by tracking down, containing, and erasing all infected posts across the internet before it could spread too far. Who knows what would have happened if the Foundation had
it was a
intervened,
post,
as is often
and
the case
then
with SCPs,
somehow that related to
best
bugs,
just not to think about
eating
it.
people?
The actual structure of the SCP Foundation is surprisingly transparent, with personnel classification levels ranging from Class A to Class E. Class A personnel are considered vital to the strategic operations of the Foundation, and therefore are not allowed to be in direct contact in any way with any of the SCPs due to potential risks. Class B personnel are vital to local Foundation operations on SCP test sites, and are only permitted to be in contact with SCPs deemed to be relatively safe. Class C personnel are field agents that have far more direct contact with the SCPs and often put themselves at great risk in doing so.
So these are the
Class
mobile
D
task force
personnel,
dudes
as previously mentioned, are
the other video as
essentially
well.
cannon fodder thrown into the jaws of death to discover more about the more dangerous anomalies on the SCP roster. And finally, Class E personnel are personnel that have been already exposed to the potentially dangerous effects of an unknown anomaly. Class E personnel are placed into quarantine until they're deemed fit to return to work or terminated, depending on the results of their observations. In terms of actual roles in the SCP Foundation, the top of the pyramid are the O5 Council members, Class A personnel who have total clearance and oversee all Foundation operations. Below them are site directors, who manage the various physical Foundation facilities across the globe and report back to the O5 Council. On-site, researchers and containment specialists work together to better understand and combat the anomalies being housed at their particular facility. They're kept safe by the hard work of veteran security and tactical response officers ready to lay down their lives to prevent more dangerous SCPs.
I would assume guns won't always work in every situation.
In the event that an SCP does breach containment and escape, or a new one is discovered, field operatives are dispatched by the Foundation to get the situation under control. These will consist of field agents who already operate across the globe, and specialized mobile task force operatives. The SCP Foundation has eyes and ears everywhere. Their organization is influential and is embedded in every facet of society, ready to strike and suppress an emerging anomaly before any ripples of its existence can
considering
reach
how
the
big it is,
wider
I'm pretty sure
world.
somebody would have found out, or somebody would have leaked some
Scratched the
information.
surface of the SCP Foundation's extensive and frankly mind-boggling global and historical operations. There's plenty of information about the Foundation online, many of which people assume is pure fiction, but wouldn't that be the perfect cover for a real secret organization wanting to cover its tracks? As the quote says, the greatest trick the devil ever pulled was convincing the world he doesn't exist. Ultimately, the SCP Foundation is on the side of mankind, but that doesn't
now that would be a trip.
in our best interests. After all, if it means preserving the peace and getting another anomaly under wraps, the Foundation won't hesitate to terminate you and everyone you know without a second thought. Whether you'd want to face off against the Foundation itself or one of the anomalies they wish to contain is ultimately up to you.
Like that.
But trust us, neither would end well for you. Oh, speaking of which, there's another SCP we forgot to mention that's quite literally unspeakable. SCP-2521 is a creature that's made entirely of strange black tendrils that envelop and smother the creature's prey. No written records of the creature exist outside of pictograms because it immediately attacks and consumes any information produced about it. This includes speech, as the creature will appear and consume anyone who— oh god, oh no, it's here, help me! Ah! Pay no mind to what you just witnessed.
Alright, well, let's go ahead and talk about that real quick. It actually went to some of the SCPs, which I was excited to kind of see, or kind of get a general overview. The plague doctor looking dude looked pretty interesting, so yeah, so this is really a lot better, a very basic idea of like what to expect from the SCP Foundation. So this one worked out a lot better than my other video that I was going to be posting, and this one's a lot shorter as well, so it's like nice, short and sweet. But I'm excited to see, because I also remember in the other video it was talking about how it's a bunch of writers writing their own stories, so everyone always has a perspective on something, so you're getting like very, very, very different ideas. Like they mentioned this one, the red pole in Canada. They mentioned they saw like some kind of crocodile thing. Saw like a plague doctor looking dude, the girl who was pregnant, that it could end the world. Even this last one where he said even talking or seeing or like something that's being produced by this anomaly, I forgot which one it was, it would immediately consume you. So I thought that was really interesting. I feel like I'm gonna really get into this SCP Foundation type thing, because it's really gotten into my head, and now I'm just kind of seeing like, okay, well, which ones are the ones that are like really cool, and like the ones that just have great story behind them. So if you do know any of those, and if you made it this far, go ahead and comment what SCP you think is your favorite down below in the comments. Go ahead and leave a like, hit the subscribe button for more. Click the notification bell, make sure it's turned on so you get updated every time I post. And until then, I'll see you all in the next video. Bye.